Good morning to the Soulman, or welcome, to the Soulman and Friends surgery, or the Soulman surgery. Oh my God, I'm out of practice. I've not done any surgeries for 2 days now, so I'm out of practice. I am at the shop today in our amazing little chill room. I look like I'm in the broom cupboard and Ed the Duck's about to jump up. But yeah, this is one of our lovely rooms at the shop. So I thought I would come in here and let you see part of that. So today I have got on my lovely friend Gina Veriker from Confident in You. Oh my God, I'm just going to pull Gina up. Good morning. I was going to say Gina Veriker from Cobweb Moon, and I wouldn't be wrong in saying it, but you know.
No, you wouldn't. Although I've put that shop on the hold for the bit because I've just got too much going on. It's too much going on. Yeah.
Which is actually a really good thing, isn't it? You know that.
Yeah.
You know, for me, the fact that you've put your Etsy shop on hold because you've got too much going on, that's a wonderful thing. It tells me that you're not trying to do too much, which is great.
But saying that, I needed my sister to tell me that I needed to put my shop on hold. She's like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing so many things?" Like, I don't know, because I want to do them all.
It's good to be busy, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. I like being busy, and I like, yeah. I feel low and depressed when I don't have things to do. I am aware that might be me running away from things, but I like being busy. You do too. You like being busy.
It's funny because the other day there, I said to everybody, I'm going to take a couple of days off, and it was Diane actually. Diane had messaged me and she said, "Stephen, you said you were taking a couple of days off, and now you've posted that you're reviewing everybody's meditation videos." She's like, "What are you doing? Take the time off." But I can't sit still. I can't sit still. It's terrible.
Yeah, but it's important you do, because otherwise you get burnout. So at the weekend now, so on a Friday afternoon, I close my laptop down properly, and then I try not to touch it again until, well, we have a class on Sunday, but that'll be the only time I touch it over the weekend, unless I really have to, because otherwise I'm tired of getting burnt out. I'm just absolutely exhausted. I need that downtime. And it's really hard to do, though, because there's so much I want to do. So, yeah. So I totally sympathize. I know exactly where you're coming from.
So, Gina, today we are speaking, we're actually just going to have more of an organic conversation, you know. We're going to speak about what you do. We're going to speak about some of the changes at the shop as well. And we're just going to have a blather. So, your business is
Confident in You.
And You.
Woo! It's on the bottom.
It is. It's scrolling down the bottom there. And what Gina does is Gina really helps people, empowers people, and supports them to have a really good online presence, which is really, really nice because, you know, I speak to so many people, so many business owners. Actually, that's something I need to talk to you about because I've got a group of people, 20 people, who all want to do our Getting Back to Business workshop.
Okay.
It's something that we kind of put on the back burner, but I thought that it would be really nice for you to come in and do something there as well, you know.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
We'll have a wee chat about that.
Cool.
But, you know, I speak to so many people, Gina, and they own businesses, or they are managers in companies, or, you know, responsible for, you know, lots of things. And the one thing that they want to do is engage with their audience via video. Yeah. And they find that it's just like one of the hardest things that they could ever do. So, you know, that's what your business does, doesn't it? It helps people to get over those barriers.
Yeah, I have to say nearly every single client I have has And it's something I go back to. There's a story that they tell themselves, that they've convinced themselves that nobody wants to watch them. Nobody cares about their business. Nobody cares what they have to say, that they look dorky, that they don't know anything. That's one thing that comes up, especially women. And it's the feminist in me goes, ah, because, women know so much, and not just in their chosen career, but, life experience. And so one thing with nearly every client I have is I ask them, what is the story that they are telling themselves? And why are they telling themselves that? And I encourage them to listen to what they say to themselves and write it down. Because when you see it written down, you can see how ridiculous it is. And also to look at it and think, imagine if saying that to my partner, to my children, to my best friend, you would never say the things you say to yourself to someone you love that's closest to you. So when you're able to sort of detach from it a little bit in that way, it's I encourage them to refute it. So to write down the opposite. So, might have someone go, I don't know anything about this. I have no right to stand in front of a camera and talk about something I know nothing about. And go, well, is that strictly true? And go, well, actually, you've done a degree in this, so you actually know quite a lot of information about it. You've worked in this area for the past 5 years. And if there's information you don't know, well, you know how to find that information. And it's, and so there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, as well as the technical and the presentation part. Because the way I see it, if you've got a strong foundation, then it doesn't matter what you're talking about on camera. If you feel good and you feel confident in what you've got to say, then you will be engaging. People will be interested in what you have to say. You could be talking about the most boring thing in the world, but if you're interested in it and you're confident with what you're saying, then your audience will be interested. I mean, how many times have you scrolled on your phone and got stuck watching a video about something that is completely unrelated to you and you don't have any interest in it, but you're fascinated in the way the person is so passionate about the way they're talking about it, and they seem so knowledgeable, and you sit there watching it and then you realize you just lost like 5 minutes of your life.
Now, let me tell you, right, I was scrolling through Facebook, as you do, 9 o'clock at night, and I got stuck on, I can't even believe I'm sharing this, but I'm going to share it. I got stuck on this person's live broadcast, and they were opening, what are they called? Is it oysters? So they were clams, I don't know what they are, but they were opening these things, right? Sticking a knife in and opening them up. And then they would squeeze out the pearl from the inside of it.
Yeah.
And then she cleans the pearl and she's got it on the sand and she's like, oh my God, this one's like a silver, and I'm
No, that's exactly my point. You're like, I never knew I was so fascinated by oysters.
It's the one thing where I could honestly say I am not interested in pearls, I'm not interested in jewellery at all. But I was just so fascinated, and I think it's because of the girls' enthusiasm for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time. If you feel good about if you feel good about yourself, then that just naturally translates over the camera. It sounds so simple, but it can be so hard to do for so many people, because especially, and it's a catch-22 situation at the moment with COVID. It's a really hard time for people, and there's a lot of people struggling with their mental health. But then if they want to work, or they want to move forward with their businesses, or they've perhaps started a new business, then they have to put themselves out there and present themselves in a public forum, put themselves on the scary internet.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of battles going on within people. They want to do well, they want to be successful in their career, in their business, but they're dealing, we all are, with this weight and this pressure and this stress of being in lockdown. And it's it's a really hard time for people, and it's really unusual. So yeah, so that's kind of what I help with. Mostly I help with mindset, and because the technical side is actually very easy to solve, but there's no point having a wonderful setup if you're not feeling it and you're not being genuine and authentic, because people will just switch off, and then you're closer to where you want to be.
And those really simple things, like those very simple tips, be aware of your surroundings before you go live, So, an example, I'm sitting, if I was to turn the camera the other way, oh, where's this? Hi guys, I'm just sitting here beside the bin.
It's nice.
And but that's the thing. It's those really simple little tweaks that can make a big difference.
Yeah. So yeah, lighting, Stephen, lighting. But you know what? I will say, when you're doing anything over camera, you need to make sure that you've got good lighting. And good lighting means that people can see the whole of your face. Especially in in holistic therapies and the work line you do, people are looking for empathy and understanding, and they need to see you, and also don't sit too far away so they can't see your face. They need to see that you are showing empathy and understanding, and these are very slight facial expressions. It's very nuanced. So if they can't see you showing compassion and understanding, then there's a barrier up that doesn't need to be there. So, or you can look condescending and patronizing, slightly hostile. So you got to get your lighting right, and also if you get your lighting right, it gets rid of shadows on your face, which makes you look younger and fresher.
Yeah. I know, I'm thinking my lighting's shit. Really bad.
It's all right, we'll let you off.
I know. Do you know though that what you're saying there is all these little hints and tips? They're brilliant things, and I think that if you were thinking about working with Gina, it's very simple. You would just go onto her website, confident in you. You'll be able to contact her through her website, and Gina will be able to give you lots of help and lots of support. And it's done one to one. It's not she's not just saying, right, come on, here's a book for you to read, and here's this for you to do.
It's tailored. Yeah, I tailor it to, because every single person is different. Every single person needs different things and has different, and also use the camera in a different way. For example, I had a session with a church minister this week. They're using the camera in a very different way to someone who just wants to talk about what's their products in their shop. It's and so they're wanting to engage with their audience in a very different way. So it's tailored one-to-one for the individual, what they need, how they need it. Also, even the technical setup is different for every person. I've had clients who need to demonstrate things in a big area, and I've had clients who just want to have that intimate connection over live, so they can connect with their audience and make them feel like they're talking one-to-one to each person. So yeah, what's that? Is that interview's over? Boring.
That's me not putting the do not disturb on the laptop. So it's very simple things like that as well, that can really, because for me, I'm very honest and I'm very open. I'm like, do you know what, guys? I've done that and I'm really sorry. And people like that, the honesty. Whereas if you're trying to ignore it and go, oh my God, what was that? And, you see people, it can completely implode them.
Yeah. That's the other thing. It's just be honest. You know, I am fully aware that either one of my kids might come running in the room, and you just have to roll with it. I mean, what else can you do? The doorbell might go, the dog might start barking. Your phone, you might have forgot to switch your phone onto silent. You know, anything can happen, and you just have to roll with it. And if there's technical difficulties, you just own it. Take ownership and say, you know, there's a technical issue. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to try and sort it. If I can't, we'll perhaps have to end it. You know, the live feed or whatever. It's just life working from home at the moment.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's also the side of things where I've spoken to lots of people who will say, you know, I really want to do lives for my business, and I really want to engage with my audience in that way. And they've maybe had coaching from people or watched YouTube videos or whatever that may be, and then they've gone live and they make a complete and utter arse of it. And I know that sounds awful, but you know, when they are live, they don't engage properly. They see people commenting and then they react to comments, and you know, it can go the really wrong way, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. You know, people can get so involved in what the viewers are saying that it can sometimes really cause them to make a complete and utter pig's ear of it. And then what happens is it scares them from doing it ever again.
Yeah. I think you have to be aware that it's like anything on the internet, when you're putting yourself out there, there's always, you're opening yourself up to the opportunity that someone might not like what you do. And people love to comment. They love to, and most of the time it's positive. You know, most of the time it is positive. But you know what? I relate back to Brené Brown, who I absolutely adore. I'm listening to her Dare to Lead podcasts all the time at the moment. She's so fantastic. And she talks a lot about that quote about being in the arena. And, you know, if I can't remember the quote, I'm sure I have it. Actually, I do. One sec. I do. So it's called The Man in the Arena. And it says, it's by Theodore Roosevelt. And it's just brilliant.
You shared that with me, actually, when I was feeling a bit...
Yeah, I'm going to read it out because it just that for what you were just describing with when you're online and then people are putting comments out there that don't make you feel good. This is really important to remember. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. So that's it. It's that if you're not in the arena, if you're just sat at the side of the arena, hurling abuse in, if you're not in the arena with me, bloodied, dirty, you know, battle scarred, falling down, getting back up again, trying your hardest, then if you're not in that arena with me, I don't care what you've got to say, because it is very easy to sit on the sidelines and be judgmental. It's very hard to show up and get up again and again. And the people that are in the arena are never hurling abuse at each other because they know that it's so important to encourage each other up. So yeah, so I relate to that if you're not there in the arena, then I'm not interested in what you have to say. Yeah,
it's such a big thing. You know, what you're saying there is every single person needs to be working together. You know, and I think that's the key. If I'm really honest. You know, I was speaking to someone yesterday who said to me, you know, Stephen, see, as being part of your academy, I would never have thought before about recommending other businesses. And I've always spoke about them, but I've never thought about recommending, because what I say to them, my students in the academy, I'm like, share each other's stuff, share each other's businesses, talk about each other's businesses. So as a result of it, what she'd done was she was sharing in her class the girls in her class who'd done specific things. So, you know, if you ever want to get yoga, go to this girl. If you ever want to do personal training, go to this girl. And the girls were like, oh, that's really nice. Thank you so much. But then what they done was they shared in their classes how they could go and get meditation from this lady.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you who it is, but so then people are messaging her saying, you know, I would love to come along for meditation.
Yeah.
So it all works together and they're all in the arena together.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That is exactly it. Because it's about being brave and about taking the knocks and learning from your mistakes. Because you have that, I bring this up a lot in my sessions as well. You have the person who is successful has dealt with much more failure than you can even imagine. You know, it doesn't, you don't. Yeah, exactly. And that's why they're successful, because they've learned from their mistakes. They've learned from their failures. And they've, as you say, Stephen, you've turned a frustration into fascination. They've become fascinated by their failures and used it as a tool to encourage them to do more and be better instead of being frustrated about it, and which keeps them heavy and low down. So yeah. So that's what I spend a lot of my time doing is in the sessions is figuring out what is their strengths and encouraging them to be brave and to concentrate on what good they've got going and the positive in every situation. And because the thing is, most people, when they actually think about it and when they actually have a word with themselves, they know what they need to do for themselves. They know what it is that they are looking for. And often they just don't know how to find it, which is why they'll come to the Soul Man and Friends, or, they'll come to myself, and we get to help them and guide them, because ultimately every person has to do their own work. They have to do it themselves. You can't do it for them, but you can help them. And that's what I like to do.
Yeah. So basically, you are in another form doing what we do, and that is you are helping people to become the best version of themselves that they possibly can be.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what everyone should be doing. So it's a no-brainer to me. Yeah.
You know, that's why, as human beings on this earth, we were born to share. You know, we were born to take that knowledge and that valuable history from our ancestors and share it. And from birth, we're sharing. You know, so we shouldn't covet the things that we love. We should share them as much as we possibly can. That's what I love about your business, because, you're a trained actress, and through all of your experiences as an actress, that's how your business has developed. And that, for me, is the most valuable business, because you're not someone who's went away and done a university degree on helping people engage online. You're someone with lived experience of many, many, many knockbacks and difficult things that have happened.
Yes, and there are a lot of knockbacks as an actor. It's a ruthless industry, and it is based on luck mostly. because I've worked with big names. I know a lot of successful actors, and a lot of them will say it's pretty much about being in the right place at the right time. It's luck.
Yeah.
And that is, and I think as an actor coming into the business, that's a very hard thing to hear. That and most actors, do you know, out of all the actors, and this is pre-COVID, out of all the actors in the UK, and there are hundreds and thousands of them, only 8% of them are actually able to pay for all their living costs from their acting work. That's only 8%. The rest are pretty much someone who has a job and then does acting on the side, which is effectively what I do. So yeah, it's a terrible industry to be in. Actually, it's not great for your confidence at all. You have to be very thick-skinned, and there's, I mean, you'll have seen in the news as well, a lot of people taking advantage of people coming up into the industry. And that still happens all the time. I cannot tell you the amount of stories I hear where on film sets people are still being treated horrifically. There's racism going on, sexism, there's bordering harassment, and because everyone still goes, oh, it's the film industry, you know, they think they can get away with it, and so often they do. So it's not all glitz and glamour behind, you know, when you see that. And also filming's really boring, people, really boring. You know, when you like see, and it was James, I was listening to James Corden talk about this, and it made me laugh. He was saying, you know, when you watch Brad Pitt in his big action movies or whatever, and when he's filming, about 80-90% of the time he's actually sat in a kind of huge caravan, using a portaloo that flushes with blue water. It's like, it's not that glamorous. It's not that interesting. It's incredibly boring. You spend most of your time waiting around for things to be set up, things to be changed. And if there's a hostility on the set, it's a very lonely place, and you spend a lot of time on your own. It's not the most glamorous, and it certainly teaches you a lot about resilience and patience, and focusing on the good, and being able to focus and channel what you need to do in a, you know, so you'll be doing a scene that'll be incredibly emotional, but there's probably like 25-30 people in the room with you. There's a whole load of cameras and lighting and sound and people who you don't know what they do, but they're always there, and then you're meant to do this scene, and you know, because that's what they're after, trying to capture it. And you know what, nobody cares in the room. Nobody's there watching you going, that's amazing. You know, everyone's just going, no, cut, we need to do it again. You see the boom was in the shot. You're like, I gave my best performance. So yeah.
So that really has set you up for being able to really help people on, you know, every single level when it comes to being in front of the camera. And I think actually, if I'm honest, Gina, what it feels like is that, you know, the confident in you is actually, it's more immersive than your acting job. Would you agree?
It is. Oh no, I love it because you know, I really love it because I get to help people, and I actually get to see when my efforts pay off, because I'll then see on videos or lives that they're doing, and I'll see how they've made the changes and how much more relaxed they are. But more than that, people trust me, and that is a huge honor, that people trust me with their insecurities, and they come to me and they open up to me and we talk about things that they probably haven't even opened up to themselves in a great deal. And we get to work through it, and they come away from the session feeling a lot more enlightened about themselves. And and I get to feel like I've really helped someone. So yeah, I absolutely love it.
And do you see people like really developing over time as well? You know, obviously when you're working with them, do you see the end result, I suppose, or the result that they're looking for?
Yeah, but everyone's a work in progress, and also people change. So what they think they want at the time and how they want to present themselves, and that's one thing I'll say to people is that it's a tip I'll give is that when you go in front of the camera, have in your mind what you want people to say about you. Do you want them to say that you are compassionate and authentic, or do you want them to say that you are lively and enthusiastic, or or you're knowledgeable? What is it you want them to say about you? So people change. So at first it might be that they want to be they want to be engaging and motivating and getting people to do things, and then a year down the line they might decide, actually I want to come across as more knowledgeable, and I want to be able to bring my energy down a bit, and have sort of do calmer, more composed lives. And yeah, so everyone's always changing. But you said that this morning in your vlog, Stephen. I was watching. Everything changes. Nothing's permanent.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. I think
Yeah.
I think that's a huge key thing that you're saying there, because we develop and we change as human beings over time, and how boring would we be if we stayed the same?
Oh God. I wouldn't want to be the person I was 10 years ago. Oh no.
I actually was watching a live video that I done 7 years ago. It came up in my memories this week, and honestly, God, I'm looking at it, right, and I'm thinking, I've developed so much as a person in that time. I came on, I'm like, all right, guys, how you doing? Really nice to see you. I'm full of life and full of energy, which is good.
Yeah, it is good.
It's not unprofessional, but I think now I definitely have a bit more life experience. I've got a much calmer way of working.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I like. I think it's equally engaging because I'm knowledgeable and I know what I'm talking about. But
yeah, you've settled into it more. Yeah. So your energy sort of calmed down, and you're more focused and more settled and more at ease with it all. Yeah.
And I think when you're aware of how you're perceived as well, it's actually quite a good thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yes and no. Let's be honest here.
Yeah. Sometimes that's not a good thing. But most of the time, if someone's giving you that kind of feedback, like so personally, if you were to say to me, or anybody was to say to me, Stephen, see your live feed this morning, I was a wee bit close to the bone. I really feel that people could have taken that the wrong way.
Okay.
I would really review that, and I would look at myself and I'd be like, actually, do you know what? Thank you for giving me that feedback. I'm going to have a wee look at it and see how I feel with it. Sometimes it's quite hard to look at yourself as well, isn't it? Sometimes it's hard to give yourself critique. And I suppose that's something that you'll do with people as well. You'll often have to have difficult conversations and say, I'm going to have to just be honest here. But
actually, I on the whole, no. Yeah. Most people are very aware, but you also have to understand that if they have zero self-awareness, they're not going to come and find me. They're not going to want to book my services.
Good point. Well,
yeah, it's those that have some self-awareness of themselves that understand that they're maybe not coming across in the way that they want to, and they're the ones that will book my services. So yeah, it's you do get a lot of people who don't have awareness and get quite upset if someone does point something out to them. But then that's a whole other Pandora's box of insecurity and how they feel about themselves and how they perceive themselves.
Put that back in the box.
Yeah, let's close it. Anyway, I want to ask you questions, Stephen.
You want to ask me questions?
Yeah, because you're always asking other people questions, you know, to find out about them. So I'm going to ask you questions. Is that all right? Yeah,
Maybe.
you ready?
Maybe.
Okay, there's only 8 because I ran out of time. But okay, you ready?
Why did you not tell me that you were going to ask me questions that you had pre-prepared? I thought that we were just having a chat.
Oh, we are, but you know, I'm just jazzing things up a bit here.
Exposed. There you go. That's better.
Okay. Oh no, you look like, you know, when you get those psychic mediums that obviously want to terrify people.
This is what I would look like as a spirit guide.
A light bulb.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway.
Right. Okay. What was the last movie that made you cry?
I don't like these questions. You're gonna laugh at me if I tell you.
No.
The last movie that made me cry was the new Disney movie with the dragons. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, I've not seen that yet. I know which one you mean. Yeah.
Watch it.
Okay.
What is that called? I need to find out.
Okay. All right. Why did it make you cry?
Just the message behind it. Most Disney movies make me cry, you know, when I watch them, because there's always this really deep and meaningful message that I think every child needs. So
yeah, I agree with that.
So any Disney movie that me and the kids watch, I always get emotional. My wife always says to me, she's like, "Why do you get so emotional when it comes to Disney?" And I'm like, "I don't know. What's wrong with them?" 1 second. Try again. Disney movie.
Last Disney movie?
Raya and the Last Dragon.
Raya and the Last Dragon. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay.
Brilliant movie.
Okay.
So yeah, that made me cry.
Okay. Right. Second question. What's the worst injury you've ever gotten?
Physical or emotional?
It's up to you.
If it's physical, I got my leg trapped in a roundabout when I was 13. And
oh right, no, you mean the like in the park, not like
not
like the road roundabout.
No.
I was like, how did you get?
You know the roundabouts that you sit on and you push.
Yeah.
I used to get them like way back in the 2000s when I was like 13, 2010 when I was 13. Used to get the roundabouts that it was like bars and you just sat on the bars and pushed the bars. I'm joking, obviously, but you're talking the 90s.
I was like 2010. Wait, just wait a minute. Just hold your horses there. You're older than me.
Very slightly. So yeah, sitting on the roundabout and my leg, I got my foot stuck on the ground and then my leg got trapped and it got crunched and twisted and so I had to have my kneecap all manipulated back into place.
I'm regretting asking this question now.
Yeah. And emotionally, the biggest injury is losing my grandmother. Because I found that just the most heartbreaking, horrendous loss that I've ever experienced. So, that I found that like a physical injury. Strange.
Well, yeah. Grief is. It does. Yeah, you do feel it physically. Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Okay, let's raise the vibe again.
Okay.
What are the five things you cannot live without?
My wife, my children, my business. Those three things are like my top priority. Four.
It can be. It doesn't have to be like really heavy and serious. It can be, I don't know, like Greg's bacon butty.
No. Coffee is one thing I can't live without, and my hair.
I'm not going to repeat what you put on your Facebook about your hair recently.
Oh, yeah, my personal Facebook is where I can say what I like without it coming across as unprofessional. But yeah, it is like a wild nun's carpet.
And there are a lot of questions about that as to, and how would you know that?
Yeah, it is. I used to be a monk.
Yeah, but monks and nuns don't live in the same area. They have monks in monasteries, nuns live in nunneries. I know that. I've got a Catholic. Ask Nikki, she'll tell you as well. As Catholics know these things.
I was a nun then. I used to be a nun.
Okay, moving swiftly on. If you were a ghost, who would you haunt?
I am a ghost.
Well, in like a creepy film ghost story, who would you haunt?
If I was a ghost, who would I haunt? Does the person have to be living or dead?
Oh my goodness, you are making these so complicated. Living.
Living. If it was in a creepy way, because I didn't think I could be a creepy ghost, I would be one of those loving, kind ghosts that would come and help people.
That might be creepy for the person you're haunting.
It would have to be my wife.
She's a lucky woman.
I would move things about. I would turn on the TV. I would do everything in my power to let her know I was there.
Will you just?
Exactly. Be on an exorcism.
Brilliant. Okay, what is the strangest gift you've ever received?
A pair of dirty underpants.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell us more about that.
I was sent someone's worn knickers in a bubble wrap padded envelope, along with a note declaring their undying love for me.
Did you know who they came from?
No.
What, did it come to your house or did it come to the shop?
It came to my house. Yeah.
Whoa. So this is someone who actually knows you. This is not someone who's just aware of you, through your online presence. This is someone who.
And it was before the Soul Man, so it was obviously in time. It was times before, so yeah. And I'm convinced to this day that it was a wind up.
That's a pretty odd wind up. Yeah. Especially if you don't know who it's from.
Yeah, I've had other things as well. Anyway, but yeah.
Wow. Okay, right. Well, I wasn't expecting that answer, so thanks for that. Moving on. Would you rather always be hot or always be cold?
Always be cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would rather be able to put layers on and warm myself up than be too hot and have to take everything off, because it's not a pretty sight when I take everything off. So
Okay. All right. This will relate to what you said earlier. Right. What age do you feel right now and why?
I feel 21 because I've got a metabolic disorder that stopped me aging when I was 21 years old, and I won't ever age physically, mentally, emotionally, ever. So I'll stay 21.
Do you have a photo of when you were 21, just to put up for reference? I think everyone needs to see this.
Yeah. Do you want me to find it?
And also, can I ask, would Nikki agree with this?
Yeah, absolutely. There you
Okay.
go. Photo of when I was 21.
When you were 12.
21.
You are so full of it.
No, I would really honestly, I would say the age I am now, because I don't ever see age as the number. I see it as just another. I don't even see age as anything actually. I think that as we grow older, we just gain more experience, and that's it. You know, if I was to tell the 21-year-old Stephen, or give him any advice, it would be, just know that in 10 years' time, you'll be a wiser version of who you are now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I feel the same as I do. I would just feel the same, but I'm just, get more tired or.
Children, Gina, that's it. We are all just children. Inside, we really are. We've never really grown up. We've just got more responsibility.
More responsibilities, yeah. I'd agree with that. I would like less responsibilities. Not the stuff I enjoy, the stuff I don't enjoy, like looking after the house and cooking tea every night. I mean, I like cooking, but it's like every night until I die.
There's a really good app called Just Eat. So if you go on to Just Eat.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Right, final question. What keeps you up at night?
The thought of upsetting someone. If I think that I have upset someone, it's the one thing that can completely pull me apart.
Okay.
I think that my actions or my words have upset anybody and made anybody feel less than how they feel for themselves.
Okay.
That's a really big thing for me.
Yeah, I think that's really sweet.
Oh, thanks.
But also, I'm thinking there's obviously an element you need to separate yourself from it a little.
I've tried, and there's nothing I can do to change it. And I've had therapy with Susan because of it. And Susan actually said to me, interestingly, she said, I would never really say this to anybody, but what I'm going to say to you, Stephen, because you're unique, is don't change that part of yourself.
Yeah.
Because your empathy is your superpower, and it's your curse.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I think most of the people connected with the Soul Man and Friends are all very empathetic people.
Yeah.
I know. I was in tears watching the news yesterday about that 20-year-old who was killed in America, and just like watching his mum just heartbroken. And I had to go and stand outside for a few minutes and compose myself because, I've got Edward who's very sensitive and picks up on my emotions. So if I feel empathetic towards something and it's overwhelming, I have to physically remove myself to get myself back in a better place before I can be around people again. Yeah. So yeah, I think
empathy is one thing that we should all embrace, I think.
Yeah.
I think people try too hard, though, Gina, don't they? People try too hard to not be something. And I think that if that's something that is part of you, and it's something that's kind, it's not doing anybody any harm, then we should embrace that. So instead of trying to push away how we feel, if we can embrace that and say, okay, so I'm going to embrace the feeling of that and maybe change the way that I've spoken to that person in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree. I think we're all learning, and I agree. I think you shouldn't change you, especially when it comes to empathy. I mean, because I've never been able to watch violent movies. I hate misery fiction, where people just talk about in great detail the terrible things that have happened to them, because I take it on board. I experience it deeply. And as a child growing up, that was always frowned upon, and I was always mocked for it and made to feel ridiculous about it. And it's actually taken to my 30s for me to realize that actually it's a very good quality and it's something I should be embracing and not running away from. So I totally agree with what you're saying about if we actually just embraced these qualities instead of being shamed by them, I think there'd be a lot more happy people on the planet and a lot more understanding and acceptance. So yeah.
You said there about watching things that make you feel down. I would never do that. So right now, Nikki and I are watching the whole of Grey's Anatomy over again, right? So like Grey's Anatomy, it's comedy,
Yeah.
I mean, even there's like, oh my god, really serious injury, and I suppose that part of it, but that's part of living and dying, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's the comedy aspect of it that I love. We watch Friends, reruns of Friends all the time.
Yeah. See, Friends is like a warm, cozy jumper that's got a few holes in it. You put it on, you're like, it's a bit scraggy. I wouldn't wear it out in public, but I quite like it.
Yeah.
And all the stuff they say in it, you're like, that's so wrong, but hilarious.
Then you've got people that sit every night and they watch How to Get Away with Murder. They watch, Britain's Biggest Serial Killers. Like all of these horrendous programs that leave you going to bed feeling really terrible.
Yeah.
Why do you want to do that to yourself?
Sensationalism, because it evokes that thrill and that excitement, and
I'd rather get my thrills elsewhere, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think that's mostly what it is. If it evokes like this, like, oh, what happened? Why'd they do that? And there's a little bit of conspiracy theory in the murder mystery ones as well. Like, oh, I think they did it. I know they said that they didn't do it, but I still think they did it. And I think that's why it's so popular. But I'm like you, it's just not for me. I'm just not interested. I don't need to take on other people's pain if I don't have to. If I'm not dealing with someone in particular, or I've chosen to be in that situation, or it's someone I care about, I don't want to take on the pain of a TV series made up of someone's death that happened 20 years ago. Does that make sense? It's not that I don't care, but I have to protect myself. So yeah.
Yeah, it makes absolute sense. I think too many people get caught up and fall down the rabbit hole of watching all of this crap that actually doesn't make them feel good at all.
Yeah. No, you're right. There's also an element of being desensitized. But there is the thrill and the excitement of it and the fascination. But yeah, I don't know. I think it would be less of a problem if people embrace their empathy more and their understanding more and compassion more. So maybe it's all connected. It is. It's all connected.
What I'm finding, Gina, as well, is that there's so many more people embracing the empathetic part of themselves. So a great example is that I was speaking to a gentleman the other day who has always been a very empathetic, kind, caring, loving person, but he comes from a family where there's 7 boys and his dad, who were all very much like, you need to be a man, suck it up. See, that just really irks me. It just really upsets me. I've got a couple of friends as well who, they'll say to their kids, come on, man up, stop crying.
Yeah.
Let children be empathetic. Let them cry. Let them feel like that.
There's a book I want to tell you about, actually. Hold on. I'll see if that's here. Yeah. That I think you should read, Beyond Behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
And it uses brain science and compassion to understand and solve children's behavioral challenges. But like every book, I'm reading it and going, wait a minute, that relates to me, and that relates to all the adults I know in my life. And it's about coming from a place of compassion when it comes to behaviors that are socially unacceptable. And so it relates to everything you already say. But I think it'll be a really good book for you to look at. It's called it's called Beyond Behaviors. And I'm only in chapter 2 of it. It's quite a lot, but what they talk about is really good. Is about top down, bottom up. So when someone behaves in a certain way, are they behaving top down or are they behaving bottom up? And what they mean by that is, yes, that's it. If they're behaving top down, they're choosing almost to behave that way. They've made a choice. It's in their brain. I'm going to choose, which, we all do. We're like, I'm just going to do that anyway because I want to, But most challenging behavior, nearly all of it, comes from bottom up. And that's because we hold our emotions in our body, not in our head necessarily. We hold our emotions mostly in our body. And so when there's challenging behaviors, it's because they're feeling in such a way that they cannot engage their brain to think rationally. And so they just go, whoa, and it comes out. Yeah. And with regards to children, it's very good for especially children with ASD, because that tends to be how they function all the time. And the book is about working with that bottom up feeling. And because you can't expect a child or an adult who's struggling to make rational decisions. So it's a case of making sure they feel safe, making sure they feel understood, are all their physiological needs being met, all that kind of stuff. So it comes from that. But it says says it in a much more intelligently and cohesive way than I'm putting across at all. So, but yeah, I think it would be a really, really good book for you to read. And anyone else who's really interested in brain science and how the brain it's just amazing how that there's all this new research and knowledge about how emotions affect our body, but it's not really yet been put into practice in the medical profession. It's starting to, but only by people who already have an interest in it and know about it. So it's at that stage where I'm sure in like a few decades time it will be part of medical treatment, but at the moment they sort of treat they're not treating the whole person, they're just yeah, it's complicated, but it's been really enlightening for me. I'm in chapter 2 because I had to stop and process everything I read about it and just sort of sit with it for a few days and just sort of be like, wow, okay, I need to just understand what this is saying so I can move, take on board the next part. Yeah.
Well, it's in my Amazon basket.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. It really.
It's $14.99 on Amazon, by the way, for anybody who's interested. Where you can buy Kindle for, I think, a $5.
It's really, it's just really good.
I like a physical book though. I like something like that, especially bedtime reading.
Well, I was suggested it by my friend who is a psychologist. So, and she deals with challenging behaviors, both in her professional and personal life. So she got that book and she was like, this is the book you need to be reading. So, yeah.
That's good. It'll definitely help with Noah as well, or help us with Noah, because Noah is that child that's just
yeah. Well,
all these emotions come, they like jump at you like some kind of demonic spirit that's leaping from his soul.
In your house, do you have moments where you're just like, quite frequently, like, what happened? How? Why? What? Why is it suddenly like? Why are we suddenly up here? Everyone was chilled out a minute ago.
Yeah. Yesterday actually was a prime example of it. I went up the stairs and just walking up the stairs as you casually do, to go upstairs and lie on the bed and chill out a wee bit before you go to sleep at night. Walked up and Noah's in his bedroom and he's like, "You bastard!" No, I'm not going to say the whole word, but he's screaming. He's like, "I'm going to cut your head off. I'm going to absolutely beat you to a pulp." I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? Fortnite. But there was something in the game that had like made him react in that.
Yeah. We Edward's taken to swearing but not swearing, so frequently I'll hear you, "Don't you duck and do that, you ducker." Like, and then I sent you a picture, actually, didn't I? A photo. I looked on my dishwasher and he'd written the word "fucking" with all the letters, the magnetic letters. And I was like, do I tell him off for writing a swear word on the fridge, or do I congratulate him on spelling it correctly? So I just sort of like mushed it up and walked on.
It's very interesting though, having children that have got these amazing extra abilities, isn't it? Because they are superpowers. They're the most empathetic, amazing little things in the world, and probably more so than any normal adult. And I suppose like any kind of like autism, ADHD, there's many, many different types of everything. So no child is ever the same, but I think that the one thing that they are very in touch with is empathy.
Yes, overwhelmingly so. That's what I was saying. I have to be very aware of my emotions all the time, because if I'm not on top of my emotions, then he feels it, and then it's into the stratosphere with how he's feeling. So And it's hard to bring him back. It's much easier to control my emotions than it is to bring him back to planet Earth. Yeah. It's I mean, but yeah, I look at him and I think, you'll change the world. The way you see things is just amazing. I don't know anyone who sees the world the way he does.
It's amazing the way it really truly is. It's definitely a superpower.
Yeah.
Kindness, caring, and equally a very honest approach on how to deal with the world.
If they don't like something.
Yes.
Or I'm gonna kill you. Oh, lovely. Great.
Well, they don't mean it literally, though, do they? It's obviously just how it goes.
No, they don't at all. And if they were fully aware of what they were actually saying, they would be upset. But yeah, all we have to do though is we just have to get them to adulthood. In some way, shape, or form.
That's the bit.
Sorry, say that again.
That's the bit that I really worry about is adulthood. We've been in the supermarket before, and you'll say, why is that person so fat? And we're like, they're not. It's like they are so. Like, shut up! Show your face.
Yeah. I know Edward did that. There was someone in a electric wheelchair, and Edward shouting at the top of his lungs, "Why are they in one of those?" I'm like, and he's genuinely asking, but the way he asks, I'm like, some people need to use them. That's all. It's absolutely fine. Just some people need to use them. As I'm quickly pushing him out the way.
It's a good thing though, to an extent. Or to a degree, because we had Noah in Livingston Shopping Centre one day, and there was a lady sitting, and she didn't have any legs, and she was sitting in her wheelchair, and Noah went over and he approached her, and he asked her, he says, why do you not have any legs? And she was like, thank you for asking, darling. So I've got something called diabetes, and she was sharing with him, not drastically sharing with him,
Yeah.
My legs went gangrenous and they had to chop them off. She didn't.
No, it's traumatized.
Yeah. She did say, she says, thank you for asking, because most people's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what a wonderful thing, actually, to be honest without hurting someone's feelings.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. We just need to get them to adulthood. I don't know. I have hopes for Edward. He's so determined to be independent that I think he'll make it work. He'll make it work for him being an adult, because he just wants to do things his way.
That's it, though. I think you do worry about them, but actually they'll be fine.
Yeah, they will. They will. But read the book, Beyond Behaviours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Gina, I've loved our chat this morning, but we're 10 minutes over time, which is great.
It's good. It's good. And we didn't even talk about the shop. So very quickly, the online shop is open, soulmanscotland.com. Go and buy all your spiritual goods there.
Yeah. We've actually got some new stock coming in tomorrow as well, which is really good. So we've got meditation cushions. I know I was sharing those with you.
Yes.
We've got meditation cushions, which are phenomenal. They always sell out really quickly. We're getting in resins as well.
Oh, all right, nice.
Obviously, you buy the charcoal discs and then you put the resin on. So it's like incense, but they burn in a very different way.
Okay.
Nice, strong smelling, amazing scents.
Will you use them in the shop as well?
Yeah. Cool. And we've also got some archangels coming.
Oh, okay.
Archangel figurines that people can buy.
Right. Oh, wow, that sounds great.
Yeah. So we've got man, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and
Right.
Archangel Raphael. So we've got loads of new stock coming. So
Cool.
yeah, it's all good.
And the shop is open 7 days a week from the 27th of April.
7 days a week from the 1st of May. So it's
From the 1st of May, okay?
yeah. So
Okay.
the 1st of May is the Saturday, I think it is.
Check. Quick phone check. 7 days a week. You open at 10 every day, but you close at different times. Yeah, it is a Saturday, by the way. So, but you're open on Sundays and open late on Thursday evenings. So you open till 9 on Thursday evenings. So
we're open now Sunday and Monday, which we weren't open before.
Okay.
Sunday and Monday, and then we are open Thursday till 9 p.m.
Yeah. So booking, it's open. So you book at the soulmanscotland.com on the new shiny website. Yeah. So it's all.
Gina's actually helped with that as well. So I have to thank Gina as well, because Gina proofreads a lot of stuff for me. So I said, Gina, what do you think? And she was like, well, just tweak this, tweak that, change your punctuation, change your grammar a wee bit. I'm like, honestly, terrible with spelling and grammar.
No, you're not. You're not. But I think you just want to get it out there. And you're like, it's up, done, bang, bish, bosh, bang, done. And I'm looking at it going, can I just get in there? And I like put, commas and apostrophes in and full stops. And
that's brilliant. And that's what Gina does for us at the Soul Man as well. Gina comes in and she and we've spoken about this before, but Gina comes in and she helps me with all of that side of stuff, which is really good. So thank you, Gina.
Oh, I love our help, because you and the girls just help so many people. Like it's just so it's a real privilege to help you all do that. Yeah, it's just so important, because so many people benefit from what the Soul Man offers. So we've got to make sure it keeps going, keeps getting out there, grows arms and legs.
We need another man. We need another guy.
Yeah, you do.
Because I'm like, it's me and all these girls. I'm like, I need some male backup.
You do actually. I'd agree with that. I think it would be good to have another couple of men in there.
I mean, I love the girls dearly. Don't get me wrong, but it would be nice just to have like somebody else that's not female. I know that sounds really awful. I'm just going to shut up. Bye. But it would be nice just to change the energy up a wee bit. And obviously, training 7 days, there may be an opportunity for someone coming in.
Yeah. Oh, watch the space.
Yeah. So we shall see.
Cool. Yay. So yeah, everyone remember the new website is thesoulmanscotland.com.
Thesoulmanscotland.com.
Scotland.
Say it in your best Scottish accent, Gina.
What, the whole thing? Oh God. I don't know what happened there. Thesoulmanscotland.com. I don't know what you're saying there. Thesoulmanscotland.com. That's what they say down the road.
You need to flick your accent to Scottish. That is so good.
Well, yeah. I you know what? I'm an accent chameleon. I change my accent to whoever I'm talking to. So I've got a friend, my Irish friend, and when I speak to her and I start putting on an Irish accent, and she's like looking at me like, are you taking the piss? I'm really not. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
I love it.
Yeah, so I'll just take the accent of the person I'm talking to. I've no shame.
Yeah, I think you should start speaking Scottish. Vote for Gina to talk Scottish from now on.
Mind you, when I go down to England, they think I have a Scottish accent, and I'm like, I really don't. If you're in Scotland, I've got a very English accent.
No, I wouldn't say you do, actually. You've got a really odd accent. It's in every way.
Oh, thanks! Yay!
It's all right. It is, though. It's an everywhere accent.
Yes, everywhere. I'm just, I'm easy. Get your Doric. Kelly saying, "Get your Doric."
What's your Doric?
My Doric. I need to be up north and around. My sister-in-law has a Doric accent. I need to be around her.
Granny's healing home, that kind of accent.
Granny's healing home. What's your doing?
What's she saying, like?
Doing there? Fit like.
I know the Aberdeen way of speaking is a completely different way. We've got some good friends that live in Aberdeen, and she's doing it the weekend, and she's like, "What are you saying? Are you fatting this or are you fatting that?" And I'm like, "What? You're fatting that with it?"
I got a lot of family up there. I was actually born in Aberdeen, so yeah.
Well, there you go.
No, but I was brought up in Cumbria, and my dad was in the RAF, so.
You need to change your accent to Aberdeen, because that's where you're from. So change it. Joking. Gina, that's our 16 minutes over, so right, I'm going to ignore you because we're just sitting here talking absolute codswallop. So hang on for a second at the end, but everybody, we will see you tomorrow, and we have got a lovely little new business on tomorrow, and she is from the Scottish borders, and the name of her business is Crystal Cove.
Oh, well done.
So she's on tomorrow, and she's talking all about crystals, and all about the small business that she has set up throughout lockdown that's really helped to support her and her family, which is absolutely fantastic. So it's a husband and wife business, and they have created their small business in the borders, and they've been doing really, really well right throughout lockdown with it. So I'm going to be on tomorrow having a wee chat with her.
Excellent.
Yeah. And her name is Paige, by the way.
Hey, we got there in the end.
Just in case you thought I'd forgotten her name, I hadn't forgotten her name. Paige Wilkinson, her name is.
Well, you'd forgotten the name of my business, so you're on fire today.
Yeah. And yeah, she is the last with the Moldavite. So, yeah.
Oh, yes. I watched that surgery. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was talking about the Moldavite.
So Paige is on tomorrow. We've actually got Moldavite in the shop. I hate it. It's the worst crystal in the world.
It's meant to be quite intense, isn't it?
I used to have a Moldavite chain, and honest to God, I couldn't sleep. I was feeling sick. There was loads of stuff going on, and I never once thought it would be that.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe Moldavite sucks your soul out your system.
Wow.
That's just how it feels, because it's really intense, and it comes from an asteroid. So
yeah, I was going to ask. That's where it comes from, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It comes from an asteroid, so what it does is it can help you level up to like the most highest vibrations, and also it can help you to communicate with extraterrestrial life and all of the rest of it. So
you need to be in a good place to be going down that road, definitely.
You do.
Yeah. Maybe not for COVID times.
We'll keep it light tomorrow, I promise. So thank you very much, everybody, for being on today. Thank you so much, Gina, for being on today. And
Thank you for having me.
And if anybody does want to do some work with Gina, her website is scrolling across the bottom of the screen there, www.confidentandyou.co.uk. So go and hit Gina up, and I'm sure that she can help you with loads and loads and loads to do with making yourself a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gina. And goodbye now, everybody.
Bye. Bye.